Now that you know the goals, says Louise, let's get started. I've drawn 3 columns on the whiteboard, which will help us work through the goals of the retrospective. The first column is for things that went well in this sprint. The next is for things that could be improved. And the final column is where we'll build a plan to address any impediments in the next sprint. You'll also notice that I've placed pads of sticky notes and markers in front of each of you, and that I'm displaying a timer set for 10 minutes on the projector. I'd like for all of us to take 10 minutes to write down any items that you've noticed over the past sprint and to add it to the appropriate column. For example, if you think that the daily scrums have been helpful for quickly identifying and addressing items that might otherwise have slowed us down as a team, then write that down and add it to the things that went well column. On the other hand, if you felt that the daily scrums have been tedious and provided little value, then write that down and add it to the things that could be improved column, so we can talk about it. That leaves the third column, which is a little different. We'll focus on the third column at the end of the retrospective when we collaborate on a plan for improving anything that could have gone better, or even considering ways to amplify anything that went particularly well. Since items in the third column are usually a result of any discussion around items in the first 2 columns, let's leave it blank for now. Okay, says Louise, let's get started. We'll brainstorm for 10 minutes and then we'll discuss as a team where we'd like to focus our efforts. Please feel free to think aloud as you write, and I would encourage each of us to pay attention to the items that others are placing on the whiteboard. Often we forget topics that we'd like to discuss until someone brings up a related topic. But paying attention to the items that others are adding can work wonders for helping to stimulate your own thoughts. After 10 minutes have elapsed, Louise stands back up. We've done a great job adding topics for consideration to the board, but there are many more topics here than we could ever hope to get through in our time today. So I'd like to narrow our focus to those items that are the most important to us as a team. Everyone, please pick up your marker. I'm allocating each of us 4 dots. Over the next 5 minutes, I'd like for everyone to review all items on the board. Whenever you see an item that you'd like to discuss today, even if it's your own item, please place a dot on that item. But you don't have to spread your dots evenly across all sticky notes. If you see an item that's really important to you, feel free to place 2, 3, or even all 4 of your dots on that note to indicate its importance. But I will ask everyone to limit themselves to no more than 4 dots across the entire board. As Louise starts the 5-minute timer, all members of the Scrum team quietly review all cards on the board and place dots, sometimes even more than 1, on the items that are the most important to them. 5 minutes later, Louise works through each column, arranging that column's sticky notes in a vertical line ordered by the number of dots, placing those with the most dots at the top. Okay, he says, this looks like a good list of topics for us to get through. Let's start working through the list of dotted items, starting with those that have the most dots.